Addiction. Diction, with an A in the front of it, is different to diction that you A front. I don't know what that means, I don't know what I'm trying to say. What I want to say is that I'm going to be discussing the topic of addiction and how I feel like that might be the cause of my problems in life, in addition to many other things, potentially. But what it stemmed from is, the other day, like 2 days ago I think, I watched this video, which was a video where a guy who wrote a book about your brain on porn, I didn't look into it too much, but he seems to know what he's on about because he's on the Stefan Molyneux channel, so take from that what you will. But it just made me think, the research that he discussed and the problems that are caused by people who do use pornography or are addicted to pornography in general are potentially problems and things that I might be suffering from, as I do or have used pornography a lot in my entire life, really. I would say since maybe being 9 or 10 years old. 2004, 2005, 2006. Yeah, around that time, I would say. Since then, I've been pretty much addicted to, or I did not think addicted to, pornography. And I just thought, everyone looks at porn, and what is the difference between looking at pornography on a screen and real life confrontation with nudity and sex? So I thought, because there was no difference between those two, that it was not unhealthy to look at porn, that it was just the same as being involved in real life sex. So I just thought, everyone has sex, everyone looks at sex, and whatever porn does to your brain, real sex must do to your brain. So there's no problem with porn. I don't know. I just believed that because that makes some logical sense. Right? Looking at a pair of tits on a screen, looking at a pair of tits in real life, one of them can poke you in the eye, the other can't. That's about the only difference. But that's not true. But I didn't realize that, and I didn't do enough research because I guess I never thought that I had to do research. I never read any books. I knew there were books out there on it. I knew there were articles on there. I never looked for the articles, and I never read the books because I don't like reading. I don't like looking for stuff because unless I really want to know the answer, and I think the answer might be different to what I know, or I want to check to reassure. Well, let's get past that. I didn't want to know, but I watched this eventually, and he highlights the fact that it is a problem. In fact, it is a problem. Watch the video yourself. It's here if you want, or do some other research. The particular one that I hear mentioned a lot is I think someone called Norman D. Doidge. I might get that wrong. I'll just do a quick Google here. Let's see, Norman Doidge. Norman Doidge. Wow, this is not. I'll put this on so you can see what I'm doing. I'm doing this live. It shouldn't be this way. People say that he has done a book or something on a thing. It was from that this channel. This other Jordan Peterson channel that I watched, which was this guy called Sorting Myself Out. He was in a. He's older than me, but in a situation where he wants to sort himself out. And I've been wanting to sort myself out. Watch some of his videos. They were entertaining. In particular, I remember one he specifically discussed, which was something along the lines of slaying his biggest dragon. I'm looking for it here because it's particularly... Here we go. This was it. Anyway, he was in this talking about the book or something I mentioned, which was a Norman Doidge thing, and that he had drug problems and relationship problems and work problems and porn problems, and highlighted the problems that porn have caused. But I just never thought, for me personally, that it was much of an issue until I got around to watching this video, because I'd kind of hidden myself away from the facts, you know? I'd hidden myself away from the information until I watched this and had it fucking blasted at me. And so, this is a meme, but I believe this now, after stumbling across this and watching it. Porn is bad. It's plain and simple, porn is bad. Before I didn't think it was, now I do. What do you do about that, though? When you've built an addiction, stopping doesn't make things easy. Continuing it isn't good. I've always said to people, you should quit smoking. It's not that easy. If I had an addiction, I could quit it instantly. So if I was a smoker and I found out that smoking was bad for you, I would just quit on the spot. That's what I said. I never smoked, so I think, well, how hard could it be? You just get the craving and then you say no. Simple. Then you can quit smoking. Everyone can quit smoking. If they're not pussies, they just need willpower. But I didn't even realize that I had a fucking addiction that's worse than smoking, which was pornography addiction. Who knew? I thought, you just look at nude women and anime girls on the internet, and that's pretty normal. It is normal, so it's not like I'm the only person who does it. The majority of people do it, but it isn't good. It's like the majority of people smoked, and still do. I think, I don't know. They don't. But a lot of people smoke. It's still bad to smoke. Just because a lot of people do it doesn't mean you should. So I watched this and now I want to quit, and I have quit. I have not. What's the difference between seeing porn and looking at porn? I've not looked at porn, but I've seen porn since then, because it's impossible. it's literally impossible to avoid porn, but I've not looked at porn. I've seen it, but not looked at it, because it's just fucking everywhere. And so what I was going to get into was the fact that they talk a lot about addiction in general in this video, the neuroscience of it, the damage it does, and the reasons why you should stop, and the symptoms, and the fact that you can improve afterwards. Let's see. The documentation that I wrote here is that what I've gone over roughly so far, which was, I kind of knew it was bad, but I didn't want to know for sure. I ended up on a well-informed video. I didn't know how significant it was, put it off, convinced myself that it's not a problem. I do it every day, it's part of my lifestyle. I'm used to looking at porn all day and masturbating a lot. Since I've been able to function well enough and get by so far, and I have, like I said in the previous video, I've been able to get to where I am. I'm 22 years old, and I've never had any problems in life other than finding life meaningless for the past 5 years. That's a big problem. The past quarter of my life I've had no meaning in life. Now I'm trying to fix that. This could be a problem. So I've relatively been able to get by. Just because I'm not dead doesn't mean it wasn't a problem. And just because it doesn't feel like it was the cause of any problems, I never believed that it was, but I do now. So I'm wondering why I don't have any motivation, and feeling helpless, and not having any idea what to do in life, what I want, no ambition. Well, I have ambition, but clearly not enough ambition to pursue the ambitions, like to write a book. Clearly not enough ambition to actually write it, otherwise I would just write it. You know, that's the way I'm looking at it. Clearly don't have enough ambition to want to make games or YouTube videos, otherwise I'd just do it. And by YouTube videos I mean like edited, structured, scripted. This is somewhat scripted, but it's once in a blue moon. I always felt bad for not being productive, but then didn't have the willpower to do it, which is the delay of gratification, and this is a big one. So watching porn and orgasming, an orgasm is like the biggest reward hit, and finding porn is the biggest like dopamine release of searching for something and being in a state of anxiousness and getting constantly rewarded and following your impulses. Porn as an addiction, I didn't realize this, it fucking deteriorates your ability to delay gratification, because you're constantly feeding your just impulse. Click this, ooh, I like this. See this picture over here, I like this. Oh, this video over here, click this. Ooh, follow her on Twitter. You know, click, 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 click. It just trains the muscle that follows your impulse to a point where you're completely overwhelmed by that subconsciously, because you think you're in control the whole time. You think that you're clicking on that because that's what you want to do and that's what matters, but it's not. You just think it is because the last time you did it, it felt good. It's like the person who smokes isn't thinking that they're just doing it because, you know, they're used to smoking. I completely understand it now. But that's why I've had no ability to delay gratification, and that I struggle with it, because I've conditioned myself against it. And constantly feeling like I should want to make stuff, but then not being able to do it, and feeling guilty about not doing it. This all stems from this no ability to delay gratification, which is to say I should put some effort in now to get something out later. But I can't do that. To write or program games, I likely do want to do it, but then I feel like I don't want to do it because I don't do it, and it's just a weird fucking cycle that just makes me paranoid, really. It's also the cause of brain fog. Get this. This is something I talk about with my friend, who I won't name. I don't want to name people. A lot. He has this as well, where we start to say a sentence or try and use a word, and then we can't find it. Can't remember how to do basic mathematics, and like I walk into the kitchen and start doing something, and then hide this. Walk into the kitchen, start doing something, and then being like, wait, what was I doing? Or I'll like pour hot water into the sink and like put coffee into a bowl or something. You know, just fucking, instead of putting coffee into the mug, you know, it's not good. It's just it's causing me like actual problems when I'm doing stuff like just pouring fucking boiling water into the sink, and I'm thinking, what the fuck am I doing? Or not being able to finish a sentence. It's fucking crazy. So yeah, can't speak fluidly, and all these other psychological reasons that you wouldn't even think, oh, the reason I can't pour myself a coffee is because I watch porn. It doesn't, you wouldn't think that, because it's just so disconnected. But apparently it is. I can't make myself a coffee because of pornography. Fuck you, Pornhub. I trusted you. Inability to find romance despite others being able to. Now this is a big one. In my previous video I said I'm really struggling with girls. This is why. Porn. Once again, blame all my problems on porn. But apparently it is. At least I found the solution, which is to quit porn. How do I get this fucking... There we go. I can rotate this. I don't have to lean away as much. I was wondering why all of my friends have been able to find partners while I haven't, because I thought, well, you know, I'm just as fit as them, or I'm just as intelligent as him, or we have the same sense of humor, you know, like we're friends, or I've got the same achievement as them. I'm healthy, they're healthy. Like, what's the difference? What's the difference? That was Seinfeld. So, determining that I'm just as competent as them, or potentially more competent. Don't want to toot my own horn, but sometimes I look at somebody and I think, how the fuck do they have a girlfriend and I don't? Reason is, I figured probably because the main thing is they don't look at porn and I do. It just doesn't seem like it would have anything to do with it. Like, why should it? Apparently, it does. So, that's the one difference I have. I couldn't find any differences between us. It's like, well, I'm just as smart, just as funny, just as interesting as, like, whenever I'm not complaining, like in this video or any of my other videos, I'm a cool guy. So, it's frustrating, but at least I think this is potentially a reason why. It was the missing link to sorting myself out. Did I also write in here that you can get erectile dysfunction from looking at porn? Because that was that was something that they mentioned in the video that I don't even want to think about. I don't think I've got any erectile dysfunction because I can get an erection. That's maybe more information than you wanted to know. I'm not sorry, because when I do have an erection, it's great. You'd love it, trust me. Your mum would love it too. Yeah, it's the missing link to sorting myself out, because I tried to follow a lot of the Jordan Peterson way of being, which is cleaning your room, having a routine, having a life with clear goals in mind that you can orient yourself towards. I think it'll explain that if you view life in a way that you have your ultimate objective and then sub-objectives that you split further and further down into doable tasks, and you do those doable tasks, and then something new comes along and you want to know how to approach that, well, you just look at what your final goal is, and then say, will option A or B or option C be the best one to get me towards my final goal? And you say, well, obviously C is the best option to get to there, so I'll go with C. Instead of thinking, well, A would take me over here, B would take me over here, and C would take me over here. All of those things would be great, so I could take either A, B, or C, or maybe if I don't choose either A, B, or C, I don't have to make up a decision now. I can just put that off, and then I can get maybe all of those things that I want. You can't live like that. So you need to have a routine and an orientation. And my previous video, I said, you need something to do and someone to love. So I always thought when I tried to do any of this, I had this temporal zeal, which is something I said, which is a mixture of, that's what Zipporal is, temporal zeal, or then temporal zephyr, which is the winds of time, or the zeal, which is a sort of time-based enthusiasm, limited enthusiasm. That's what it is, limited enthusiasm. If you don't know what Zipporal is, limited enthusiasm, or the winds of time that pass by. I didn't want to change my porn usage or masturbation because I just didn't think that it was a big deal until recently, and that maybe the fact that I couldn't commit to anything and that I was obsessed with this nihilism and hedonism, despite the fact that I agreed with everything in the Peterson lectures. You know, I agreed with the things that he would say. Scott Adams was another great motivational, inspirational thing. I mean, this book here, Scott Adams' book, How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big, kind of the story of his life. It's not the title exactly, but Elon Musk, great inspiration to me. Developers like Satoshi Tajiri and Shigeru Miyamoto, Andrew Gower, the RuneScape guys, animators, like all my YouTube animators that I follow, like Psychic Pebbles, OniNG, Ego Raptor, people like JonTron, just everyone who I watch on YouTube, animators, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, those guys, great, just an endless list of people who I look up to and think, wow, if I could do what they do in the general sense, not just do what they do as in copy what they do, but look up to and think, wow, they have a passion and projects that they work on. I want to be doing that and make that what my life is about. Like, I want to be obsessed with rockets and electric cars and wake up and do engineering every day. For example, that's if you were Elon Musk, you wake up and think, what can I do that will change the world today? And then instead of thinking, ooh, maybe if I could make rockets cheaper, that would be cool, and then going back to bed, you actually go and invest in a company that can build rockets, do research and development, and engineer your rockets, and spend hours, like hundreds of hours a week, engineering, trying to get it right, and coming up with new ideas. Like, honestly, I'm not joking, but you look at that Elon Musk and you think, wow, fucking, what a guy. I want to be at least half as motivated as this. But I just can't seem to stick to it. I just seem to think, fuck it. Nihilism and hedonism. Nothing matters. I might as well just have a drink and just masturbate and do whatever. Fuck it, But how often do you think Elon spends looking at porn? He doesn't. I'm not gonna guess. I know people like in recent news, Ted Cruz. He liked some porn post on Twitter, which is pretty funny. So you can say Ted Cruz maybe, but that's why he's not president. How often do you think Trump looks at porn? Well, his wife was in porn, so I don't know. Donald Trump's pretty successful. He's the president of the United States. He looked at porn. I don't know. It's a very tricky situation to be in because, like I said, everyone looks at porn, so you can't think, oh well, if I stop looking at porn, it's like I don't have to stop in order to get success. It's the kind of mentality, but apparently I do because I've never been able to act out anything I believed in from Jordan Peterson's lectures. He would say something and I agree with it. I put it down to the fact that not knowing what I want and not being able to find and just not being equipped to sort myself out. It's like some people can sort themselves, I just can't. That's why I saw it. But I cleaned the fuck out of my room and I thought, right, now I need to slay some dragons. But I was not slaying the dragon that was right in front of me the whole time with fucking invisibility. Now, that is a fucking dangerous dragon. Dragon that you can't see will just fucking swallow you whole, right? At least I can see my dragon now, so I can face it. It genuinely is a dragon, I guess. As I've said, adopting a careless approach to life, it always makes it feel like there's something missing because I just slip back into a situation where I'm full of self-judgment and I try to pretend that nothing matters. I can't really manifest that. It's just a scapegoat. I say nothing matters, but in my heart I know it does. I know that saying nothing matters doesn't make it feel true. It doesn't make coping become instantly like, oh well, nothing matters, let's enjoy my life, because it's still there. I still know that I'm being shit. I still know that I'm doing stuff that isn't good. So it's never fulfilling. Well, I say solution. Solution means solution for me and anyone else in this situation, just in case you didn't know, and just in case you don't believe me, do look into it. You just gotta... The fix is to quit looking at porn. I don't know if it's going to work for me yet, because I've got to quit for 3 years before I'll see any results, apparently, because of my strong conditioning. So in 3 years I'll tell you if it worked. Even if you don't think it's addiction, like I never thought I was addicted, it probably is. It does and has done real psychological damage, and only leads to many more problems throughout life. So the more you keep prolonging it, the more problems you're going to have, especially if you get to like the age of 30 and your life is not sorted out by then. You're pretty much fucked. To put it as bluntly as possible, if you never had a job by 30, you've never had an adult relationship by the time you're 30, and you have erectile dysfunction and no motivation, you will just kill yourself, or should just kill yourself. No, I take that back, because last time I said that, my video got removed by YouTube. So don't kill yourself, but have a think about it. That's what you'll want to do if you get to that stage and you're 30. You know, they say you become a wizard, but you won't. You'll just want to die, because you'll just be depressed because you can't do anything. You've not done anything, and you can't do anything. That's the point. You don't want to be in that situation when you're 30. So the sooner you start acting on it, the sooner the better. I want to succeed. If you want to succeed, do it. I feel very strongly connected to my lifestyle, and I make up a lot of excuses and reasons to try and continue doing it. Like I said, it doesn't matter. It's like, it's fine, I can continue it. It's not a problem, but it is. So I know I have to stop now, and I can. And if you don't believe me, you should look into it. Like I said, there's no point trying to decrease your usage slowly or wean away from it. It has to be a flat-out stop. Now, I don't know if that's strictly true, but going cold turkey is potentially the best way to go about it, because going through less will just make you want it more when you have the less that you have, until a point where you genuinely feel it, like you've got the last grasps. Just letting go and then just not doing it is probably the best solution. Recovery, 3 years. From about age 11 to about 25 is the best time for learning and conditioning. So basically, as I've said, I conditioned my brain into following instant gratification and being aroused by real life, by digital instead of real life, and that has its own problems. So I've had about 11 years of conditioning to this, so I've got about 3 years left of neuroplasticity in which I can potentially recover from the conditioning. If I don't look at porn for 3 years, I can recover from the conditioning and reverse, or you can't reverse psychological conditioning, but you can definitely make other connections in the brain that are stronger, that overcome that. So instead of losing the desire to look at porn, you build up your ability to say no, which just as maybe probably one of the most powerful things ever. People say the most powerful thing is learning how to say no. So if I can do that, if I can learn how to say no by conditioning myself for 3 years to say no, and then I hit that 25-year-old thing where it's like, that's it, no more neuroplasticity for you, you fucking hard stuck now, that'd be good. I don't understand neuropsychology as well as I would like to know what the limits of neuroplasticity are, but hopefully I can still improve afterwards. But like I said before, the sooner you stop, the better. The sooner you stop, the sooner you recover. Doing it. What is this section? Yes, how to actually do the recovery. I'm not sure what to do, whether I should put myself in a position where I'm doing my normal routine and lifestyle, but just have to say no each time. Because the reason I said this is because you want to build up your ability to say no rather than limiting your access to it. Alright, I just said this in the previous thing, but the reason is I could delete my Discord servers that I'm in that have porn, delete my Twitter. I don't know what I'm going to do with Twitter just yet, because I have Twitter, like, I'm following Elon Musk, but then I'm also following porn women, ladies, that, so instead of just restricting your access to porn, I think it's probably better to just get used to saying no to it. Maybe. The act of sacrifice. This is something, hey, I can actually sacrifice this. I used to think just sacrificing in the short term to get reward in the long term was something that related to doing work, getting stuff done. So it's like, if I sacrifice my time now that I spend playing games to instead spend it writing 1,000 words, that's a sacrifice. Sacrificing one thing for another, but that is a sacrifice. But this is a different type that I didn't think about, and this is a huge one. And because this is almost entirely negative, it's a good thing to be losing. It's a good thing to sacrifice a porn habit, porn hobby. Our strong connections that I have make it difficult to view it in as positive a way as it should be viewed, the ability to quit it. Like, it should be as simple as, oh, it's bad, so stop, and that be it. But I have so much investment and routine, it will require much effort to stop it than just the decision. See, I'm still testing this out, because at the moment I feel like as Peterson says, put the fear behind you instead of in front of you. So the fear to stop, there isn't really a fear ahead of me to stop. It's more like behind me now. It's like, if I don't stop, it'll catch up on me and cause me problems. So I put the fear behind me. Changing the way you think changes the problem. I've always known this. I just didn't know how to change the way I look at it. But I do now. So I think just deciding in itself has been enough so far, despite the investment. But the routine or lack of a routine that I have is more like just a habit, it's where it's just impulsively my lifestyle, which is where I sit at a computer all day watching YouTube videos, looking at memes, playing games, and sometimes listening to music and browsing porn all day. So I do all of those things whilst browsing porn, but I say do, but I haven't for the past 2, 3 days, 4 days. I can't remember how long ago it was that I watched the video. But essentially what I was trying to say was that porn is something that's woven into my hobbies. Like, I could be watching, like, genuinely be watching lectures, Jordan Peterson lectures. I'm sorry, guys. I could be watching a Jordan Peterson lecture on one monitor, listening to a podcast on one tab, and the other in another tab on my browser, or 30, because that's how many you need for porn, really. 30 tabs, or a Discord server where you've got a load of porn there. Simultaneously just doing those, it's like I'm listening to the lecture, but I'm looking at porn while I do it. So I'm paying attention to those, but it's just, or doing it while playing games. Discord server, yeah. So while I'm playing a game, I can't be clicking on the internet to links. So I just have a feed on Discord where it's people posting pictures. So I don't even have to click. I can just be like playing a game and there's porn over there. So when I say it's perhaps an addiction that I overlooked, to some folk it might be more obvious. But to me, because it was just what I did and what I'm used to, I didn't realize that. I didn't see it in that way. Someone else comes along and says, well, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of porn. I say, is it? I didn't realize. I didn't, but it is apparently. And I'm surrounded by it constantly. Constant stimulus that I don't even realize, to the point where yeah, there are posters on my wall, my desktop wallpaper, for example. It's basically everywhere I look, Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Reddit. So like Twitter, you know, as I've said, I follow cosplayers, hentai artists, animators, porn actresses, and cam girls, and so on. Facebook and Instagram, they don't have as much, like, what the fuck? They don't have as much, explicit pornography on them as such, but just women with cleavages, I guess, or women who are showing their thighs and have nice faces. That's what cosplay is, really. Cosplay isn't that. Cosplay is about the costumes, but people have turned it into sex appeal because sex sells. Everyone knows that. So like I was saying before on Twitter, it's just so interwoven with my news, the feeds of girls and hentai, that I see Elon Musk post something about the newest development at SpaceX or Tesla, followed by a post by some cam girl who just released a new video to say that she's going live online in a few minutes. New deal. Some news about the stock market, or some naked anime girl gif. It's interwoven, so I'm still not sure how to do that. I guess I just have to make a new Twitter, which I don't really want to do, or unfollow a bunch of porn things. I just didn't think that's something I would have to deal with, but it's apparently the biggest obstacle in my life in terms of self-improvement. I need to replace it, because in order to stop an addiction without replacing it, it just makes it you losing out on ability here. I've wrote it down here, but I'm trying to paraphrase. I can't. It's just hard to quit because the cravings ramp up and then you relapse because you don't have anything to fill the gap. And being in a situation that would be like where you would be before would just make you relapse instantly. So if you go outside to smoke, every time you go outside and you don't smoke, your brain will think it's wrong and you'll want to smoke again. You could easily stop smoking by just having access to no cigarettes, like stranded on a desert island, but then as soon as you get back, you'll instantly be triggered back into it. So, like I said, saying no is something I have to get used to doing, which I have been able to do. It's easier. It's a lot easier to just say no when you know how bad it is. It's like, I feel like checking porn websites now. No, don't. And I don't. It's kind of simple. I don't know whether I should delete my 1.5 terabytes of downloaded porn, because it feels like something I've put a lot of effort into and I don't want to be losing progress. It's perhaps an unhealthy attachment to have. It's not a material attachment, it's worse, it's a digital attachment, but it is something that I invested a lot of time into, and I don't want to feel like the investment was at a waste. I don't know how to explain it. I feel shameful for the investment, yet I also have some sense of pride or achievement in it as well, because let's be honest, having 1.5 terabytes of porn, you could say, well, it's easy to come by if you just download a load of 1080p porn videos, but I developed over the time pretty high standards and obscure tastes, so it's like difficult to find stuff that's good and worth saving. So it's good stuff that's been saved, and there's like 500,000 files in there that I've manually saved by hand. The hand that I wasn't using for because like 90% of the time, 99% of the time I look at porn, I'm not even masturbating, I'm just looking at porn because it's a hobby, it's an addiction apparently. I don't know if it would be more beneficial to just break it and move on somehow, because it's not a real investment or achievement, In the spirit of sorting myself out, I think it's almost ironic how in my laziness while creating the porn collections I have folders that are just called unsorted X, and X is a number or a word, and that just perfectly highlights the issue of how much of a fucking mess this is, that I didn't even realize that it was like the hidden dragon right in front of me. The porn itself is unsorted, so how the fuck can I be sorted whilst I'm looking at porn. You can figure that one out for yourself. I can't. It seems weird, but yeah. They're just called unsorted, so I'm going to be unsorted if my porn's unsorted. It doesn't mean if I sort my porn out that I'll be sorted. I just need to sort my porn addiction out. Appreciating the meme. Stop watching porn. You know, it's a meme, but it's not a meme. It's not something. It's laughable now because it's it's actually true. Don't want to keep ruining my mental health. Spending any more money on digital storage, backup storage, buying more hard drives. Don't want to buy sex toys. Don't want to keep finding more degenerate porn to be able to get aroused, because that's another thing that they mentioned in the in this video, which was the fact that you need increasingly more and more super stimulus in order to actually feel aroused. And it's kind of true. The longer you keep looking at it, the more degenerate stuff you need to find in order to be turned on, which is not a great situation to be in. You have to start doing worse and worse things so that you actually end up shocking yourself and doing stuff that you disagree with, and think, wow, this is really bad. But you're overcoming that because the brain is like in a state of anxiousness with the imminent reward, so then you reward the state of anxiousness, so you're putting yourself in an adrenaline state. It's like I said, it's just really bad for your mental health to be looking at porn. I just didn't realize that at all, that it was doing psychological harm. What's this business here? I took a break from writing a moment ago, and then I sat back down on my PC. I instantly checked the shad-based server on Discord, see more porn. Oh yeah. Hey. That was when I was writing this, like 3 days ago. I'm exceptionally conditioned from doing this for more than half my life. I don't know if I'll be able to do it while I'm just sat at the PC. Well, I have been able to. Just sit at the PC and just say no each time. Tried to stop before. I even had a bet with a friend for no fap. After 3 days I decided it was pointless. I went back to porn and masturbating. See, the link between pornography and masturbation is a very tricky one, because I think that masturbating without porn is actually good and fine, has health benefits, it's worthwhile masturbating without porn. But just looking at porn, and especially masturbating to porn, are bad. Masturbating is not bad. So no fap shouldn't be no fap, it should be no porn, really. But I'm not going to criticize that movement, because hey, it helps people. If they stop fapping, they also stop looking at porn as well. So you'd imagine. And I also wrote this: I think I might have to join the military in order to fully get over this and develop myself a sense of discipline. So I developed a sense of discipline. I'm forcibly detached for 3 years, because, you know, three years minimum service, which is after training, so it's more than 3 years, but I think at least 3 years minimum. That's not the point of the military. You should be thinking, like, what can you do for the military rather than what can the military do for you. But if there's a mutual benefit, then maybe I should. I don't even know if they would let me join with my mental illness, which is porn addiction and potential autism. But hey, I could be a good military guy, so don't criticize it. It's a pretty practical solution, I would say, and it's at least something that would be difficult to get rejected out of. It seems reliable enough. If I can't actually sort anything out within the next few months, I'll just join the military, or I'll look into applying to join the military. It would be beneficial in helping me get over the addiction and a lack of discipline and a fear of death. And it would also help me get over my existential worries by giving my life a purpose. There's a typo in there, but I can fix that. existential worries, gone. Fear of death, gone. Lack of discipline, become disciplined. Internet addiction and porn addiction and game addiction and saving addiction, gone. Lack of meaning in life. You mean your life a purpose? Bam, you have got a purpose. Your purpose is to fight to protect your country. That's a purpose. That's a real purpose. It's a pretty noble purpose, I would say. It depends on maybe who's telling you what to do and for what reasons, but it doesn't matter, because as long as you believe in what you're doing, then and you do it, it's purposeful. So yeah, it's great, useful. But then I also went on to Cycle of Perpetuating the Cycle, which was the previous video that I made, but then I went into this, which I didn't actually go into, which was that I was thinking I need to quit porn, which I still do, but I think I'm also addicted to the act of finding out what's new and a process of adding to a collection. So I think for me, if I'm not addicted to porn for arousal's sake, I was just interested in collecting new content. So like I said, I have this compulsion, maybe an obsessive compulsive disorder potentially. When you look into what OCD is, then it seems to be that that's what the case is. I'll quickly search up that OCD on ocduk.org, which is understanding what obsessive compulsive disorder is, which is that it is, briefly at the top here, serious anxiety-related condition where a person experiences frequent, intrusive, and unwelcome obsessional thoughts, often followed by repetitive compulsions, impulses, or urges. So I have the impulses and urges, obsessive thoughts, and it's frequent, and I don't know what the level of anxiety related to this is. Serious anxiety and unwelcome thoughts, because to me porn was great, and the wanting to save stuff is great, but it's also not, because it's a chore. Like, saving something is a chore, but I'm compulsed to do it. So that's why I think it might be an actual OCD. So it's true, it's split into 4 categories in different levels of seriousness. The checking thing, which is, I guess, you'll say, oh, I need to check, see if the light's on, check if I locked the door. I actually do check, but I don't check as many times as people report, like, oh, I needed to check the door 5 times before I can go. I only need to check the door once. And it's only if I don't check it while I'm doing it. You know, check the handle, walk away, and think, shit, did I lock the door? So I go back, lock the door. But if I know I've done it, so I can go. Contaminations as mental contamination. I don't know what this means, so I just ignored this. Hoarding. Now we're getting somewhere, into the nitty gritty. After manually saving hundreds of thousands of porn images, and then non-porn images, which is what I went to get onto really. It's not just porn that's an issue, it's non-porn images as well, because I've saved like hundreds of thousands of memes, pictures of landscapes, songs, music, and books. Hoarding of stuff that I buy. I don't know if you can see these fucking bookshelf behind me. I just buy like tons and tons of books. I don't even read the books. It's bad. And you can see there's Magic the Gathering cards. That's a big blue folder full of Magic cards, and then above that there are more Magic the Gathering cards. I was into that for like a really short period of time, and instantly racked up spending about £600 on Magic the Gathering cards, and then just hoarding them because they're just there. Underneath my bed is the worst, where there are boxes. They're neatly organized boxes of stuff that I've collected and saved, and I'm just hoarding. I date a hoarder. I'm a physical hoarder. I have a real obsession with just hoarding stuff. That's not good. I don't think that's good at all. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to link into this, which was so like basically hoarding of fucking games. My dude. Holy shit. It is something a lot of people can relate with me on this. I don't think it necessarily means we all have OCD, but if you've ever bought a game on Steam and then never played it, what's that website called where you can check your Steam wallet, check see how much you've spent on your check how much you spent on your Steam. This'll look stupid if I can't check games played Steam, where essentially what it is you put in your username on here, and then it tells you 58% of games not played, and so you look at the markdown, where is it, British pound. Oh, does it let me check? Well, either way, the point being that I have not played 142 games of the games that I've bought. I just buy them, hoard them, collect them, save them. And it's the same with that. I've done that with loads of books, digital books that I download, films, TV series, anime series. Getting them, hoarding them, and not doing anything with them, just being obsessed with the kind of like going to get them. The other obsession I have, which I think is also a problem, is with films. I can't watch a film or listen to a song without scrobbling it on here. So like, you just see this whole scenario where it's like, oh, 4 hours ago I was listening to some Com Trues, check it out, it's good. Home, Blank Banshee, you know. You just see everything I've listened to, and I feel like unless I've actually logged a film on my Letterboxd and rated it or whatever, added it to my 500 films that I've watched, that it just doesn't count, or that I have to log it. That's an obsessive compulsive thing, I think, maybe, that I have to log the films that I've watched, even though it takes time and effort, and I'd rather just watch the film and enjoy it than have to feel like I have to log it. But I do, so that's a bad habit to have. And then just hoarding thousands and thousands of songs and audiobooks. You can probably see that behind here, where I go to my music section. Oh, you can't see it on here, but there's 168 gigabytes, which is 60 days of music. You can't listen to 60 days of music, so that's obviously not good. Hey, check out my playlist here. I'm making a list of good music of different genres, building up the classics. This is like a rock / metal thing where you've got Hendrix, Sabbath, Dio, Joe Satriani, Yngwie Malmsteen, Winston and Arch Enemy, which are completely different, but I just like them. What I was saying though, not there. Where the fuck did it go? This. Here we go. What I was focusing on, which was this. Got sidetracked here. I'm obsessed with collecting new content, adding new stuff to my library collection. So adding new books to my shelf, adding films and songs to my Scrobbles, adding new porn to my porn collection, adding new memes to my meme collection. But it's like, I just want to check the new stuff to see what's there. It's like people have the addiction to checking the news. I have that, but on steroids, basically. Just addiction to checking the new everything. The new porn, the new memes. The new everything. And it's like for porn, I don't want to check it I don't want to check it to be aroused. I just want to see what's there and then save it if it's new and good. Porn is really attractive to me, like I said before. It needs to be actual pretty poor, bad stuff, I guess. So I just have like an addiction to collecting it, which is why but they were saying in that this video that the sort of porn addiction leads to addictions in other things. So if you're addicted to porn but you quit porn, you can also quit other things. So they all go hand in hand. The game's on Steam. I don't play most of those. Magic the Gathering, books behind me. Read any of the books that I collect. I just own them. I got loads of books that I've not read. Statistics and life, like I said, music, books, Last.fm, films on Letterboxd. I have a bunch of different websites like Goodreads for reading books, My Anime List for anime and manga, which I don't read, I just buy. And finding new YouTube videos, adding them to playlists. Yeah, I've done this a lot. Not watching them, downloading films and series, not watching those either, just having them. So it's not exclusive to porn. I don't think I use porn as a coping mechanism. I think it's just this addictive personality towards data hoarding, in internet addiction and obsession with data hoarding. So I don't know much about OCD, like I said. Could be something to do with it. I consume excessive amounts of time with my compulsions, literally all day, every day. If that's approximately an hour or more, then fucking hell, Jesus Christ. Like, hours and hours and hours of just unregulated indulgence and following desires. That's not good. Cause of significant distress and anguish. Well, I want to kill myself, so that answers that. Interfere with daily functioning life at home, including social activities, family life, and relationships. Well, I mean, I still clean my room. It's interfering with my ability to function at home in some sense, where sometimes I just won't do chores that I've got to do because I'd rather be doing something else, like saving videos or whatever, school or work. Well, I don't have school or work to tell whether it's interfering, but it's interfering with my ability to get work. So, it's definitely interference. Social activities, family life, relationships, blah, blah, blah. I didn't read the rest of this because, like I said, I'm not into reading. I just read the highlights. That's not a great way to go about it, but I'm a busy person with my obsessions, and I can't delay gratification because of my addiction. So I'm in a scenario where it's like that would be difficult for me to. Ever read this fucking book here, Infinite Jest, David Foster Wallace? This is a really big book. I read about 10 pages and couldn't finish it because it just wasn't gripping me enough. The delay of gratification was just not there. Tried to read Crime and Punishment. I got over halfway with Crime and Punishment as an audiobook because I can't sit and read that. I was listening to the audiobook of Crime and Punishment while looking at porn, obviously, playing games as well. But yeah, anxiety. I don't know what anything about anxiety is, but it's something I always dismissed and associated with nervousness. I'm not really nervous, and I don't struggle with working under pressure or talking publicly, obviously. Look at this, I'm doing that. Though I think those are misconceptions about anxiety, OCD, autism, bipolar, whatever. I don't think... this is a rant, basically. This just goes off into somewhere else where I'm saying I don't think I have anything. I don't know if I do. It shouldn't matter if I do, because either way, I just have to get over it and sort myself out. I think everyone has a mental disorder, or could potentially say they do, be diagnosed with one. It really doesn't matter because everyone is different and everyone has their own. Everyone is themselves and just has to be them in life. You play with the card you're dealt. You play with the hand that you dealt a hand. That's your hand. Play with that. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. Just suck it up and deal with it. Unless you can get treatment for it. So that's what the labels and diagnoses are. Labels don't matter outside of treatment. How do you get treatment? Well, I don't fucking know. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's that in conclusion, which was I need to maybe get over my disorders, and that potentially that will help me sort my life out if I completely quit looking at porn. Then maybe that is a dragon to be slain, potentially. So as much as I say I don't have any solutions, I think this is a potential solution that I'm going to be trying, and this video marks me saying that I'm doing that. And now, because I've said that I have to do it, I have to do it, and I'm doing that. I'm holding myself to it by saying it out here. And people, that way, it's documented that I can look back and say, oh, remember the time I said I'd quit and then I didn't? Because I'm shit. I didn't, and I couldn't. Or I say, I did, and it was the best decision of my life. Or I say I did, and it was the worst decision of my life. I don't know. Whichever way it goes is me saying that anyway. I recommend anyone else in this situation, maybe think about it. Maybe you didn't realize it, because like I said, it's fucking hard to realize when it's something that everybody does, you do, and you don't think about it as being bad. Like, you just don't realize that some of the most obvious things, until someone points it out to you, you can't see. You really do need that extra bit of interjection. So thanks for watching. If you actually watched this, like, genuinely, I appreciate that, because this was probably not easy to get through. It was easy enough for me to make because I don't have trouble talking about personal issues. Maybe that's a problem, that I'm over willing to share stuff, because I don't necessarily have that kind of fear of social stigma or embarrassment. Like, I can't get embarrassed. Has its pros and cons, but yeah, like I said, I appreciate if you watch this video, and thanks for watching. Watch the next one where I say I couldn't do it, I'm back on porn. But no, because that's not really what's going to happen, because this is Zirkzank Says. I'm fucking Zirkzank. I can do anything I put my mind to. Once I actually know that that's what I have to do. That was always making up excuses, but genuinely, a big excuse was needing to know that the decision that I'd made, or that would be made, was a solid one in order to follow it. Like, I just needed, the little bit more to actually follow through with it. Like, I needed to know that I would need to know that writing a book is the thing I have to do, or I would need to know that quitting pornography is the thing that I need to do. I would need to know that eating an apple a day is the thing that keeps the doctor away, and so on and so on. But not waiting around to hear that stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is the end of the video. Bye.